So I, just like many others, was left scratching my head after watching Megalopolis. See, I had no idea what Megalopolis was supposed to mean, so I just chalked it up to being outside my scope. I just didn't get it. And you know what? That's okay. You can't always hit home runs. Sometimes you swing and you miss. Francis Ford Coppola is only human after all. But then I realized that in my last video, I said something that might make everything make sense. Once you hear that story of how Coppola would just sit in his trailer smoking pot, I think this movie starts to make a bit of sense. I didn't realize it at first, but this was what I think is the key to understanding Megalopolis. Let me explain. We now know that Francis Ford Coppola spent hours on end smoking pot in his trailer during the filming of Megalopolis, leaving everyone in the dark while he philosophically pondered the conception of utopias, megalons, and the megalopolis. But my question, and what I think everyone is wondering, is just exactly what kind of weed was Coppola smoking? I'm talking percentages, amount of material smoked, suppliers, strains, frequency, everything that came together to make this movie, the whole 9 yards, because he must have been high as a kite to have made Megalopolis. So I started to look into it and I found some stuff, but then I started to unearth some real gems.
Yeah, so I gave Francis Ford Coppola once for his birthday some mushrooms.
What?
And then, yeah.
Yes, this is a great
while
start.
we were doing Dracula.
Wait, before he directed it or after?
No, I think it was I know it was during. It was I heard it was his birthday, and I happened to have an eighth of some mushrooms, and so I gave them to him.
And how did he react?
He took them. I don't want to. He had a very nice birthday.
This piqued my interest, obviously. Coppola was tapping into some interdimensional, psychedelic support system. After a strong mushroom trip with Keanu Reeves, you start to conceptualize just what a utopia is. Can we really have a discussion? And not just any discussion, a big discussion about the future, of course. This led me deeper down the rabbit hole. I knew Coppola was experimenting with mind-altering substances, but I knew there was more to the story, so I kept digging. That's when I found this.
Named Oscar-winning director behind Apocalypse Now and The Godfather may be getting used to that smell of marijuana in the morning. Hollywood legend Francis Ford Coppola has announced that he's getting into California's cannabis business. He's launching the Growers series. It's a line of 3 different organic marijuana strains grown in Humboldt County. They'll be available at select dispensaries in the state and through Chill, a Bay Area marijuana delivery service. Coppola's company says that he's one of the first to produce both wine and weed. He has a winery in Geyserville.
What?
Now this blew my mind. I already knew Coppola was enjoying multi-hour-long pot-smoking sessions in his trailer while everyone stood around twiddling their thumbs, but I didn't know the guy owned his own pot company. He was literally the supplier. So I started to dig some more. This, I will admit, took a while. I found that Coppola had started a company called the Growers series, which was in partnership with Humboldt Brothers, a sustainable cannabis farm tucked deep in the Emerald Triangle and includes 3 limited edition organic strains, quote, hand-selected to offer distinct and memorable experiences, end quote, intending on marketing towards those on the fence about trying pot. But all I could find was a single collection produced and sold in 2018 called the 2018 Growers Series. It was being distributed by a company called Chill, based in California, which I think has since gone out of business, but I did manage to find that the care package from Coppola's company included an eighth of cannabis, including a gram of 3 strains. Those being Blue Skittles, Tangy, and Sour Diesel. The care package came in a wine bottle with a pipe, rolling papers, the whole 9 yards. This guy wasn't just the trailer smoking pot enjoyer who made Megalopolis, he was the dealer. So basically, where am I going with all this? Well, it's now my belief that to understand Megalopolis, and I mean truly understand it, we need to think like Coppola, get into his head, share his habits, and essentially become Coppola. So naturally, I look to the care package. What I'm trying to say here is that I think to understand Megalopolis, and I mean truly understand it, that one needs to get so stoned, preferably in a trailer, including a mushroom trip with Keanu Reeves, that one starts to have the same fever dream hallucinations of megalons, the megalopolis, ancient Rome, and utopias, and only at that point, I think, are you ready to watch and understand Megalopolis for all the beauty and greatness that it offers. So anyway, I'm going to do some research for science and the greater good of mankind, and I'll be back to report my findings. Wish me luck. I think I'm going to need it. To the trailer I go, or should I say, New Rome.